So you're welcome to the School of Law, and welcome to HURIPEC, and I look forward in equal measure with you to the discussion we're going to have on youth voices in Uganda's governance under the 1995 Constitution.
And the reason why we are supporting this event today is because we have joined our strengths, our capacities, our forces together with HURIPEC to invest in a young generation of legal minds. We know that they receive a lot of knowledge here in these rooms. Sometimes, however, knowledge stays with people, and yet you see the bright minds, the very passionate people who can actually share this knowledge and share this knowledge in the way that they reach out to us.
I'll have the panel where we shall discuss the role of the youth in governance under the 1995 Constitution, and we shall also later on proceed to the book launch of Miss Harmon Asmeron.
These young people need to now acknowledge that they have the ability to bring change, because reforms can be done, but if the youth do not take, the confidence or that first step to actually go out there and say that, oh, I can bring change, I can actually occupy these spaces and bring an impact into society, then even when reforms are put into place, I think then that cannot work.
I also acknowledge the fact that as young people, we also have a crucial role to play when it comes to the governance of the country. I don't want this to just be something that we criticize. I want it to also be something that we understand that every single day, it's your role to know what's going on in your country. It's your role to know the values of your country, to know what your constitution says.
Well, like we mentioned, the constitution can provide for all of these things, but there must be deliberate intention for us young people to organize ourselves. The constitution will say it provides for freedom of expression, but you know, if you go on your phone, for example, I like what the Kenyans did. If you read about the Gen Z protests, what they did around the finance bill, there is so much knowledge you have as law students.
Such discussions do matter because they create awareness, they create a form of a family, they create quite a connection in that when we are seeing these things, we're able to communicate about them and maybe even share.
How can we get to a point where young people, where law students can be empowered to stand and be those great leaders that can empower fellow students without intimidation? Because it starts at the university, that we can no longer have open air campaigns in Makerere University where we cannot freely express ourselves as young people. I appreciate Dr. Kabumba for having taken this bold step to hear from the young people, but what more can we do to be heard?
Until young people rise up to demand for their positions, until young people rise up to demand for what is rightfully theirs, then no one will hear us.
The biggest takeaway from this discussion is that youth should actively be engaged, because there is a lot of gap. There is a big gap between youth engagement and policy making.
Rather than criticizing, so before they demand for results, they need to first engage themselves in the process and then demand for the results later.
My highlight was what Julia pointed out, that if you're an activist, she believes everyone has a calling. So that points to the fact that we are numerous, we have various interests, and every person should have a firm ground and stand up for what they believe, make others believe what they believe, but also impact policy that comes out of their passions.